We have three main economic sectors. We have the primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Basically, in the primary sector, this is the sector where we extract raw materials, for example, mining, fishing, forestry, and farming. So if you want to go into mining and be a mine manager or a geologist, then you could go into this sector where you could have wonderful opportunities of dealing with nature's resources, and also you can go into farming. Agriculture is quite a huge sector where a lot of people are employed under, so you could go into something like that, and you could go to fishing. I know a lot of people that are in the fishing industry, and it's also on the boom because it's doing exceedingly well in terms of exports. So there are wonderful opportunities in the primary sector. In the secondary sector, it's more where we process the raw material into final products. Okay, so that's the steel industry where they process things. So that's more technical, so to speak. And then in the tertiary sector, this is a sector where services are offered. If you decide to become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, you will fall into this sector because you are rendering a service to a community. So those are the three sectors that we have available in our country and in our economy, so you could venture out to those sectors. Right. For young entrepreneurs who are wanting to start their own businesses, it's very important for them to distinguish between these two sectors. An informal sector is when you open a business that is not registered. For example, if you run a little stall down the road, that will be considered as being part of the informal sector. It means that there wasn't any paperwork or legal requirements in starting or setting up that business. So a little stall down the road, or a person selling on the side of the road, that will fall into the informal sector. The formal sector is more structured, where you need to register your company and also have to pay tax on behalf of your business or on your individual capacity, depending on the choice of form of ownership that you have chosen for your business. For example, let's say you want to open a closed corporation. You obviously have to go to a consultant, and they will give you application forms. There are certain forms that you have to complete, and also you have to drop a founding statement for your business, and you can forward all these documents to the registrar of closed corporations, and they will decide whether they want to approve your business or not. So the difference is, in the informal sector, you could just start up a business with no legal requirements, but if you go into the formal sector, it's more structured, and you have to adhere to the legal requirements for that type of business. Well, an economy is I always say to people, it's something that's strange. It changes from 1 minute to the next. What happens, or what happened 2 minutes back, could be totally in a different point of view right now. So if you look at the economy, there are certain times in the year that the economy will be doing really well, where people are able to generate as much income as possible, and we go through rough patches as well, where we really struggle because of high interest rates and high petrol price and all that. So those issues do come into being. So how do they really affect the different sectors? For example, if you look at interest rates, for example, people are now really, if the interest rates are at a high peak, then people are then starting to struggle because they have to pay back much more from the loans that they've taken from the bank. And also a bank suffers in return because there are few people that actually qualify to be granted financial assistance, and therefore they aren't able to make as much profit as possible, because now they have limited customers, which are those people that can really afford to pay back the monthly installments, including the interest on those loans. So the economy does play a huge impact. If our economy is good and stable, that's good for the sectors. That means that they can have more employment opportunities for people out there. But if the economy is struggling, then the sectors also struggle, and that results to the issue of high unemployment. Certainly it does, because if the economy is struggling, then that means that the the job market wouldn't be able to create employment opportunities to people. But if the economy is doing well and if the markets are stable and the rand is trading well, and also we'll come back later to the debate of a stronger rand and whether it's good or bad for our economy, that could possibly take hours. It's such a big debate. But if our economy is doing well, then the production increases and it's good for our GDP as well. So it's really, really important that we keep an eye on the economy, because it does have a huge impact on the employment market.
We can therefore say that there are three economic sectors.
Firstly, the primary sector. The sector deals with raw material, for example, agriculture and farming.
Secondly, the secondary sector. This sector deals with manufacturing of goods, for example, car manufacturing.
Thirdly, the tertiary sector. This sector deals with the providing of services, for example, teaching and nursing.